So by dropping that shock grenade there or closing this door, I make it so they have to go around to me, and it kind of lets me catch them in like the fatal funnel for the most part. So what I'm gonna do here is I want to close this one, because this will all of a sudden give me just a place that I can hide, and it means that they have to go around. Now once again, my partner in crime here seems to be firing ghost bullets, which is just frustrating as shit, because as you can see, like, I'll kill like 3 or 4, and then she's like, oh, I got 1. And like, sometimes they'll actually do some work and they'll get 1 or 2, but they never really feel like they do quite as much as you'd like.
They're flanking us!
Raise the gates for cover!
Dell, what's your status? I'm hacking back into the system. Just hang on, I think I got it.
Cease and desist immediately.
Another step destroyed.
So I don't want them just to walk right up on me, so I'm gonna duck in here and I'm gonna raise that gate, which is, like I said, how you're supposed to do it there, and you would just use that, and the DBs can't get to you, they have to walk around. I hope I can wipe this guy out. There we go, he's done.
Yes! I'm back in the system. Anyone need a ride up? Yes, please! Oh, you're killing us down here.
No, I'm trying not to.
Got it!
And what I like about that, when you get all that, all the goodies and stuff like that, and they're raising you up, you can start to see where it's like, alright, we're just gonna keep dumping more and more and more at you.
Whoa, Dell, you just missed our stop!
Yeah, I know! Shit just got real in here! I can use a hand!
Kate, we gotta back him up!
Engaging targets. Unlawful citizens acquired. Activate suppression mode.
I like how it has that pop. It actually, when it pops, it sounds like an M1 Garand, like the cartridge being ejected from that, or the clip being ejected from an M1 Garand.
Suppression mode initiated.
Ah, they got me pinned down!
Drag out!
Reload commencing.
This'll work.
There's too many of them!
It's even got that metal clank. And like I said, this is the weapon that you saw me use in the very first level that the enemy appeared to be using. So it doesn't feel like it's a COG weapon. So I kind of see it as like, okay, maybe it's Russian-made, or it's a little bit cheaper, or their equivalent of Russian-made, so it's more easily mass-produced. But at the same time, being a DMR, you actually don't have access to one of those as part of the COG in the first 2 games. You have the sniper rifle, which is the longbow, and then you have the Lancer, which is their primary weapon.
Hey, help me carry this thing.
I love how light this thing appears to be, too.
Hey, you remember what you told Rain about getting a fabricator, JD?
Oh, please, remind me.
In and out, simple job. Direct quotes.
Means it can only get easier from here, right? Let's get back to office.
He's gonna be very, very mad at me.
God, I love that.
Hi.
Lieutenant, you've been busy.
Alright, so we were a
Mr.
lieutenant.
Jen, you're looking magnetic.
Enough foolishness. You're coming with us.
Those are new, and they're armed.
Obviously, the
They
new
are.
model.
And here's what's interesting. Unlike you two, they actually follow orders.
What is this? You looking for a repeat of Settlement 2?
A highly successful operation. It's now our most compliant settlement.
Look, our village hasn't had power in weeks. We need this fabricator.
I don't care about the goddamn fabricator. You're taking my people.
What?
Don't forget, I know what you were trained to do.
So I like that. Like,
Bye?
we were obviously somebody very
What the hell is she
important.
talking about?
No clue. But we need to get out of here.
And that is, like, that's obviously something very important. And then,
That's mysteriously convenient.
Sorry I left.
and then it shows you how you're like, I don't know, like it shows you just what's going on here, and it really does a good job at setting the stage.
Really getting into that thing?
We are, but feel free to stay if you like.
And then we see settlement 2. So that's why I said it's dystopian. Like, it's now our most compliant settlement. So something terrible went on at settlement 2. I'll probably have to like read a book or something to see if they actually tell you what that is, because it's either people got wiped out, there was maybe a mass shooting or something, and things were very highly suppressed. And now we're at the situation where it's like, we don't want a settlement 2 to happen. We don't want this to happen. We don't want this to happen. We want to make sure that we're not like that.
Okay, you two.
And like I said, those bigger guys are now a little bit closer to what a Terminator's like. They just keep coming at you.
Watch it, it's gonna blow!
And they also possibly explode.
So this is Jin's new super soldier, huh? I'm not impressed.
I kinda doubt they really care, Oscar.
Hey, less talking, more shooting.
It's dropping more DBs!
I love how they get dropped in. And the weapon that they're carrying, it kind of looks like it fires like a sonic blast of some sort. As you can see, like the rings just come out of it, and it doesn't feel like it's a normal shotgun or a normal like rocket launcher.
Activate defense mode.
Not a great time for this.
Fire in the hole!
I wonder where... Oh, they're probably getting frags from the fabricator. I'm like, all I've ever got are these shock grenades. Why can nobody else,
Okay, let's get one thing straight. When you came out, I was about to make my big play against Jin. So you really didn't save me, per se.
God, I love his character.
Fascinating. Anyone see a way out of
What
here?
is that?
Oh shit! They're smashing the wall!
And the fact that it just comes right through the wall, like, you just learn really quick that those things are not here to fuck around. They are here to get a job done. And I like it. I like that that's what we're fighting. It's not like we're fighting the Cog. We don't want to have humans necessarily killing other humans. We want to use those robots. That way we can keep everyone, you know, everyone can be kept in line a little bit easier, and there's not as much fight with them, and they follow orders without question. And also, they're versatile. Like, those things can build, as we've seen. This entire place has been manned by those. It hasn't been like, oh, cogs can only be used for this. They're not just shoulders. They can be you know, construction workers. They can do all of the dangerous jobs here and help build one of these places without having to stop. So you can theoretically, like, just have one of them working on one of these settlements 24/7 and never have to wait for somebody or people getting tired and taking too long. So robots, to me, like I said, this is a big defense for it, because I hear this as a criticism, and when I originally started playing this, I was like, okay, I can see why are we all of a sudden fighting robots. But it makes sense, and by the end of the game, I'm like, okay, this is a believable story, and it's not like they're super slim or like these really sleek RoboCop 2010, whatever it was, robots. They feel clunky. They feel like they're like in exosuits, and that they're built just to be rough and tumble, almost like the armor that you wore in the first games. They don't just seem like they came out of nowhere.
Down.
And now we get the trash shot, which once again feels like a very powerful weapon. So I'm glad that they have it in here. I'm glad it feels as purposeful as it is. And I just love how they drop it. It's a definite, like, shock and awe. And it also shows, like, these guys, they're not worried about this settlement. They don't care if this settlement dies. Alright, this should be the last guy here. We've done a fair amount of damage. We've taken them on. And we've got to see two different types of the DBs here, of the robots.
Okay, that's all of them.
This raid was a bad idea. Feels like we just started a war.
You heard what Jin said. Whatever this is about, it's not raids. We need to get back. Talk to Reyna.
Yeah, because if there's one thing my mom loves talking about, it's the cog.
And I also like here that it sets up that we know something's been, that we know things have been happening in the area, or things have been happening in the universe. So it does feel, everything here feels deliberate, like they can easily set up for something new and a bit of a new threat that is going on and plaguing the world that we're not quite sure of, and it leaves you with this great air of mystery to set up for a possible new enemy or a new enemy type.
Punched out of me. Still, breaks my heart watching Jin rely on a bunch of glorified tin men.
You could always re-enlist. A couple of spots recently opened up in the officer corps.
No thanks. I'm more of a shoot than salute kind of guy.